Welcome, Guardians, to the 50th episode of the DTR podcast. I am your host, Jay, the content manager here at DTR. And joining me this week are my wonderful co-hosts. First up, we have Dan Finity. Dan, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up? How are you?
Welcome. Next up, we have Jay Rambo, 9119. Welcome.
What's going on, everybody?
What's up? And then we have Plasmic. Welcome back, man. You haven't been here for a few weeks.
He's back from the dead.
Yeah, been gone as long as content from Destiny 2 has.
Oh my god.
It starts already.
Ooh.
Starts out.
I'm sorry, I saw an opportunity. I had to take it. I'm sorry.
He comes out swinging.
Yeah, normally Dan yells at me. Thank God.
I'll be yelling at everybody tonight, I think.
Wow. Alright, Raythel sadly cannot join us this week, and Addie should be back soon. She has left due to personal reasons, and she will be back soon. Alright, so, as always, guys, I do have a few announcements to make. So you guys can find us on iTunes, Podbean, and the Google Play Store at Destiny Tracker Podcast. We do record the show every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern live on twitch.tv/DestinyTrack. If you guys would like to support the show, make sure to subscribe on iTunes and make sure to leave a review. And you guys can follow us on Podbean. I do want to give a huge shout out to DTR Champions. That is our esports side of things. We did have a Leviathan raid race last week, and a huge shout out to the Rogue 9 clan for winning that raid race. It was really good. They completed the raid in about 25 minutes. The whole raid. Wow. It was
That's crazy.
It was incredible. So huge shout out to them. I really enjoyed that race, and we're going to have more raid races and soon PvP activities in the future, as soon as they announce private matches, which I hope is soon. Hopefully in the first DLC. That's what we're all hoping for. And also, this is our 1-year anniversary, guys. The podcast is finally 1 year old. I think that's really exciting.
We made it.
We finally made it to 1 year. J-Rum,
drink it up!
You've been here since day one. Plasmic, you've been here since day one. Dan, thank you for joining the team back in February here on the podcast.
L'chaim.
That is super, super exciting. Raythos and Addie both joined in early September, right before D2 launched. It's just exciting to finally... Can't believe it's been a year. It's been a crazy year for us. Cannot wait
Absolutely.
to see,
A lot of highs and lows.
What's next? I do want to start off the show by actually telling a story about how this podcast started and actually get all of your view of how you guys even got into podcasting and why you guys wanted to be a part of a podcast. So basically, this podcast started about
a year ago?
2016, yeah. September 2016, I joined the DTR team, and basically I started out as a writer, and then I realized, man, I don't want to write articles. Like, it's just not for me. Like, I enjoyed writing articles. I wanted to create a podcast. Like, that's something that I really wanted to do. And I basically had a month to create a podcast, and Tefty Tef actually helped me with all the software stuff. I was in his emails and DMs a few times, and he was helping me. So he's a great friend. Huge shout out to him. And Mark from Guardian Radio, he actually helped me become a host and how to host a podcast, basically. So it's basically like the short version of how this podcast started. It was pretty interesting. Of course, the first cast that we had is not the cast that we have today of how this podcast started. We had some really great guests on this show. So yeah, J-Ram, I'm just gonna throw it to you. Why did you want to become a part of a podcast?
Well, initially, like you, I joined DTR the same day, and I made raid tutorials and like little glitch tutorials and stuff like that for DTR. In fact, I think maybe if you comb the archives, you can maybe find one or two of those videos left.
Yes, the Wrath of the Machine.
Ever since then, we've grown, and there are just people in positions that do better jobs at making videos than I do. So I kind of, removed myself from that. And when you in the Discord mentioned that you wanted to start this podcast, I said, hey, what the hell? I'll do it. I like to talk. I'm very opinionated. Maybe somebody will either A, agree with me, which is no fun, or B, disagree with me, and then we can have a little rapport back and forth. Yeah. Because I think sometimes, when people listen to the same thing over and over again, it's like an echo, and that can get boring. At least for me. I am almost like that typical old guy that listens to that one talk radio station, and all he does is bitch at the radio. And then you sit there and go, why don't you change the radio? And then it's like, well, because then it wouldn't be fun. Like, I don't understand how people can listen to music all the time in their car, like the regular radio station, because they play the same songs for the last 20 years. At least talk radio, it's a different conversation every day.
It's called Spotify, bro.
Well, yeah, but see, Dan, you got to understand, Spotify wasn't around when I was in undergrad and grad school. Yeah. It was brand new at that time. So, I love to talk. I love to argue with people. And we need to understand that the definition of argument doesn't mean you disagree with somebody, but you're having an intellectual conversation back and forth. You're trying to understand the other person's point, or you're trying to make the other person understand your point. Regardless, the idea of the argument should be something that is beneficial to both, and I just really like talking. So when you put that on Discord, I was like, yeah, I'll try it. And it was a little nerve-wracking at first.
I will admit, the very first episode, I was really nervous.
Yeah, the first month for me was nerve-wracking because I didn't want to come off as the mean person, but then again, I always wanted to be honest with what I thought. So, I was that person at first that I would listen to every single podcast that we did the day after we did it.
I'm that person now.
Now I don't do that as much. You know what I mean? But before it was like, oh, what did I say last night? And then I would listen to it and I would go, shit, I shouldn't have said that. I should have phrased it like this. And just based off of that, I kind of got comfortable being, on the mic and on Skype. I love it now. Like, I look forward to, every Friday I look forward to this. Cool. So, Jay, I want to say a personal thank you for coming up with the idea, because if it wasn't for you, none of us would be here right now. So go ahead and pat yourself on the back and just know that you are loved by a bald white guy from Western Pennsylvania.
I will admit, J-Ram, you and I have gotten close over the whole year. It's been an emotional ride.
Yeah, definitely.
Plasmic, I'm gonna throw it over to you, man. You actually became a co-host the day before the podcast started. Another person who was supposed to be a co-host had to drop due to personal issues.
I didn't even know that till just now, this moment. So, look at there, guys. It's been a year. I just found that out today. All right. So, how I actually got to be a part of this podcast is Jay actually approached me when he was new to DTR, when he was writing, and I would edit, just go over his scripts or what he had written for said articles, and I would go over that sometimes because I'm a grammar Nazi. And I like the whole concept of the English language. English is really stupid, guys. J-Ram knows this. Anybody who's ever gone to school to study the English language knows this. It's stupid, but it's fun because it's like super technical. It's like a fighting video game, but you write it. So that's how I looked at it. And I had never been a part of a community before. I've been a part of games that I like, but I've never had a voice to speak and be like, well, just like J-Ram said, there's arguments and then there's just discussions. Well, I want to see what your viewpoint on this is. I might have a different opinion on it, and then we can discuss it. So that's just what I was drawn into when Jay told me that, hey, there's this podcasting thing. Would you want to be a part of it? And I was like, sure, let's give it a go. It was my first chance to ever be vocal since I have a computer, but I've never been able to have any sort of video editing software. So that's what my current goal at that point in time was, to do something of that sort. Then I was like, DTR's got a YouTube channel, and I don't know how to edit any videos, and editing software costs a lot of money. So I just went with the podcast.
All right. And
so I'm here.
I answered an ad in the back of a comic book in 1955. And ever since then, I've just been up on current events, up on the conversations with the people that we talk to in this newfangled video game thing. So I've been, I don't know, I started listening to NPR probably 6 years ago. And then that moved over to podcasts. Probably I'm definitely more into the conversational ones than the informational ones now. Even though those are still pretty heavy in my rotation. I don't know. Thanks for having me on when you put out the call for content creators back in I think it was December of last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just like it means a lot to me, and yeah, man, it's been really cool.
Nice. I will admit, when I first got the idea of creating a podcast, I didn't even know where to start. So immediately I just went out to podcast hosts, and I'm proud to say those guys are my friends. Just asking them for help and trying to see where do I start. Like, I really wanted to create a podcast because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I always have my own opinions and my own thoughts about things, and I had no platform to really say it or get my point of view across or my opinion. So I was like, hey, I should just start a podcast. I can just get all of my opinions out. So it's nice. It's been fun. It's been fun. I'm excited to see what's next. Yeah. All right.
One thing, if I am able to backtrack, is one thing that since I had told you that the reason I had joined was for the community, and because I wanted to input my opinion in some way, shape, or form, is the community, depending on the video game that you play, all communities have a beautiful side and a very disgusting side that no one ever wishes to see at all, even Reddit. But so that's what kept me here. I've been gone for a whole bunch of personal reasons, but I would like to just thank you for the chance to be able to be on here, because the community and being able to see so many different people, so many guests, so many, the partners that we work with at DTR, like JRAM, Dan, and then others, just to name a few. But it's just the people that you get to meet via all talking about the same thing you're talking about, a video game, and seeing how it impacted everyone else's lives. So thank you for that.
No problem. It's like I just want to thank every single person who's ever listened to this podcast. Thank you, because you support us. Thank you so much for listening to us talk about this game that we all love and we want to keep improving it. Just thank you. We've had some amazing guests on this podcast. We've talked every single guest we've had has been amazing, and the opportunity to meet all of them and talk to them about our favorite game. Well, at that time it was D1. It's just been fun. So yeah, thank you. And thank you guys again for being a co-host and on this journey with me of creating this podcast. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Right.
It's fun.
All right.
Remember to get the rose.
Eyes up.
That's a personal joke. I mean, that's for a later time. But guys, so let's dive into the news. We're not gonna start off with the TWAB. Let's talk about the stream that we all just got through watching. So Bungie is currently at TwitchCon, and they had a short stream. Well, it's about an hour-long stream talking about seasons in Destiny. One thing I can say that the team here at DTR, we were hoping to hear about private matches. A little bummed that we didn't hear about it, because we're now creating esports events, but hopefully it is coming soon. But yeah, they just had a event talking about season 2, and J-Ram, I'm just gonna throw it over you because you actually took notes, and I realized I did not take notes.
I always try to take notes. So elephant in the room right now, this game is going through a transformation where there are a lot of people being not only critical, but some of them are being just downright mean and nasty. So one of the things that they initially brought up with the seasons was the fact that seasons presents a time for them to kind of change things. Now, there's going to be 4 seasons per year. And to quote Deej specifically, he said it's a vehicle for change, which to me makes a lot of sense. It shows that they are actively working on some of the fixes that they want to do within the game. Some of the fixes that I wanted to hear, they didn't talk about, so we'll get to that a little bit later. But for now, just, there's going to be 4 seasons. They've looked at, I think it was like 15 years worth of Iron Banner data. I can't even talk right now. Iron Banner data. Okay, so in other words, 1 week was equivalent to that 15 years of data that they've collected. They're going to change up some weapons and stuff like that, which is really cool. And they went over the idea of what the changing of the season is, which is like the clan rewards. You're going to see new clan perks, new clan engrams and everything. But it's still the same thing. So once season 2 hits, they didn't give us a specific date, but I'm pretty sure if you could just, use your brain and figure out that when this game started the first week of September, 3 months later is going to be the next one.
Yep.
They didn't really go over if they're going to change the levels. They said there's going to be a change with them, but they didn't give us any specifics or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that is kind of like an overview of what they talked about. They kind of gave us some information on bright engrams and stuff like that, which I'm sure we're gonna dive into here very quickly. And did I miss anything, Dan?
Iron banner changes.
Well, yeah, they talked about the vendor changes.
Yeah.
Only Iron Banner changes.
Yeah, it's only Iron Banner.
But not vendor.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It seems like in season 2, Lord Saladin is finally gonna call us Iron Lords. They kind of hinted at that, right?
Well, they kind of did, but like I said, they didn't say it. That was one of the community's gripes when you walked up to Saladin, is he didn't mention anything about that.
But Lord Shax mentions it at the beginning of the campaign.
Right. Now, if you are a noob to the Destiny universe, I can understand Lord Saladin not saying anything.
Yes.
But at least he could reference it.
I disagree. I just want to say this really quickly because if you start up a brand new account and you start off the campaign, Lord Shax does not call you Saladin's Young Wolf. He says Titan or Warlock or something. Come here, come here. And there are changes in the dialogue throughout the campaign where, like, if you're a brand new account, it says different lines. Like,
right. That's what I was saying. Is if you're year one, I can understand Saladin not saying that.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, not referring to you as an Iron Lord. But for us returning people, Jay, you're absolutely correct. He should have said something like that because they made changes, you know, in the game if you experience D1. But I'm just going over my notes here real fast. Trials weapons, they're going to be redesigned. They still look the same. They're just like more like there's more angles, shaders, stuff like that. Do not expect the universal if I want to delete all of these shaders at the same time. Don't expect that to happen in season 2, but they are working on that. And that is really the only thing that they talked about as far as issues currently in the game that they're working on.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Claim rewards.
They made sure to reassert that, like, they do hear the conversations that are going on. Yeah. When it comes to everything, so I don't
know. So I didn't hear them say about the 4 seasons that there are going to be 4 seasons.
Yeah,
so I'm glad you brought
a year.
4 seasons a year.
Okay,
so
okay.
It's quarterly.
So around like the next September,
3 months.
It should be. Is going to restart
season 5.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking that they're going to restart at 1. Okay, all right. Yeah. Right. It's just a question I thought. Okay, all right. I think season 2 is going to begin right around when the Curse of Osiris launches, which is the first DLC. That seems about appropriate.
Well, you have that event, the Awakening or the Dawning.
Yeah,
the Dawning.
Yeah, so the Dawning
and then
is
you have
returning.
The DLC.
Yeah. So the Dawning is returning, guys, and there's gonna be snowball fights. I'm actually pretty happy about that. I'm actually pretty happy. I think that's kind of cool, to be very honest.
Better you than me.
Yeah, I mean, think it's.
Yeah, I would like for them to use that manpower to work on something else, but come on, snowball fights. I think that's cool.
No, you know, Jay, you're right. It is cool, but given the current state of the game right now, the last thing I want to hear about is snowball fights.
Yeah.
Like, I want to hear, like, oh, you remember that, you know, you remember that Strike Pacific loot that you had in year 1? We're bringing that back. And for me, I'm not saying that's going to be great because that's something that we've already had, you know? Yeah. Like, I posted something on Twitter yesterday about when they said challenge mode is gonna give you guaranteed gear, and everyone was like, "Oh, that's great, that's awesome." And my tweet was, if you order pizza, what do you expect? A pizza. Yeah. You know, we had strike specific loot in D1, and D2. That's kind of what I expected. You know.
Yeah.
D1, the story was very sporadic. It was all over the place. D2, I expected a story. So I'm not going to sit there and celebrate the fact that they gave me a coherent story when for the
should have been there from day one.
It should have been there from day one. That's what I expect. Now, if they said something along the lines of, you know, we're going to give you this gear on every challenge, plus this cool little thing that nobody else can have. Okay, now we're talking. See, that's that next level. Mm-hmm. But anyways, sorry, I went off on a tangent there.
It's okay. No.
I said to myself, I'm not going to do that, and I did it.
Yeah, he had a pep talk with himself right before the show. But going back to the stream, let's move on. Oh wait, you guys have anything else to say about some of the changes that they are bringing?
From what I'm seeing on Twitter and from what I saw on there, what they announced today was mainly cosmetic.
Yeah, it was mostly cosmetic items.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see how, because of course, like the stream just happened, so I haven't been on Reddit yet or Twitter, so I'm really curious to see how the community is reacting to it. So for me, I'm excited. Yeah, it's not the changes that we all hoped for, but it's new things for us to go and grab. Yeah, it's behind Bright Engrams and Eververse and things like that, but some of it, not all.
We were talking about this earlier, and it's like, when it comes to the content, it seems like it's a little like it's more of a content gate during the season. Like, so as each season comes out, they'll give you new rules for weapons, and they'll give you all these different things. It just seems like a little businessy, and like J-Ram, what was it you said earlier about like the feeling of Destiny?
In D1, you had this, or at least I did. I had this emotional investment into the game. You know, like when I got that one gun, I knew that I worked hard for it. I might have gotten lucky, like I did. You know, my first Gallowhorn, I got it from a purple drop at the Crypt Target, it turned into the Gallowhorn. But I remember getting that gun and saying to myself, I can't wait to unlock those Wolfpack rounds because I'm going to start wrecking shit. That's not in this game at all. There's no emotional investment for me within this game. And I think maybe that's one of the things that, you know, that maybe that's the main argument that everybody is having right now within the community, is the fact that, you know, you want us to do these things, but there's no emotional investment there for me. There's nothing, you know? So there's that disconnect.
Is it because they want you to play the game when there's stuff to do, and once you run out of stuff to do, you just stop playing?
I don't think any game publisher or game designer wants you to do that.
Well, I'm only saying that because, like, we've heard Bungie say, "Oh, well, go play other games." If there's,
I hear that all the time. I don't get that, man.
That was like at the height of droughts, when
I'm thinking because
Dan's right. Dan's right. They said at the height of droughts. However, Deej referenced that like 4 times tonight. Go off and play something else and come back. It's like
like I've been hearing that a lot since D2
it's like,
dropped.
Dude. If I made the game, I would want my population to be playing my game at all times. You know, so, more time spent in the game. I hate saying it. The more likely I am to spend a couple extra bucks on the silver to get that thing. But if you're telling me to go play other games, fine. I'll find other games. I may find a game that's better than yours and never come back.
Yeah.
But hey, they got my $60, so what are they worried about? I guess I don't know. I don't understand that argument at all.
I think so.
Oh, Dan, go. Sorry.
Oh, as it goes on, and the more I think about it, we have this emotional investment, like J-Ram said. We have this emotional investment to this thing that we loved, that we love, that we still love, and we hope to love in the future, like even more. But yeah, a lot of this is like businessy. It all smacks of kind of like maybe Activision came in and was like, okay, like all of this like hippie love fest is cool and everything, but like we need to make some more money off of what you already made us.
Yeah.
So if you could make us more money, that would be great. And then they were like, okay, well, shit. Now we got to figure out how to make money in the middle of our hippie love fest. What are we gonna do? And then so this content gating kind of comes out of that, and it sucks for that. I'm interested to see, because they announced that they're going to be doing 4 November streams, which makes me think that it'll probably be like Wednesday, like each week, probably on a Wednesday, like we've had in the past. Going over the Osiris DLC. I would love to see more of that.
Yeah. I think I tweeted out earlier this week. I was like, hey, Bungie, when can we expect more streams? And I'm proud to see that we're going to have more streams. But right before the podcast started, Dan, you brought up a really good point that maybe Activision had a very heavy hand in this game. And I didn't even look at it that way. I'm starting to realize, hey, maybe Activision did have a heavy hand. And because in D1, you can see that Activision didn't really have a heavy hand in it, right?
They handled like the
towards
advertising,
the end,
right?
Yeah. But now Activision is like really into the game development part of it. So
they were out on that stage during the release, which anybody who's a publisher is going to be on the stage during the grand release of the next chapter of something, and that's fine. Like that's fine. Business is business, and it's very clear where they're going with it. You know, like they're wanting, like, hold on, sorry,
You're okay.
They definitely want to be like almost they want to hit as many sectors as they can when it comes to selling this game and getting people to play it. And I believe, what was it? On Mercules put out a post on Reddit today, or not today, but sometime this week, where he's talking about he tweeted, and it was like the funniest thing, because he was like, hey, come hear my thoughts about the current state of the game, or watch me get downvoted. And he was talking about how he has people that would come over and watch him play the game, play D1, and they'd get it and they'd get rid of it because it wasn't it seemed like it was too much of a time investment. And there are people in his life now, like coworkers and I think like a cousin or something, that have played it, and they've purchased D2 and are loving it because it doesn't feel like that much of a time investment.
So right, well, they made this game for the casual.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah, and we've been saying that every day, and it just like we've been saying that every podcast, and like almost to the point where it sounds like a slur. But like,
you're right.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, from a business aspect, completely understandable. They want to make more money.
Yeah,
it's going to be bad for us, for those of us who want to spend all of our time in this thing, and that like they just, that's just how it's going to be for now. Now we'll have to wait and see, like, because I think it was Guardian Radio earlier this week. They brought up that it was like House of Wolves before they actually brought in any like real true quality of life improvements to D1. Like, we might have to wait and see what happens to Rasputin.
Well, they tried in the Dark Below. You remember the whole debacle with the I already have Suros, the Suros regime gun. I get it again, and I have to redo everything again on the gun. So I remember that came out, and there was a lot of shit about that. But as far as straight up like making your character stronger, that didn't happen until House of Wolves with the etheric light thing.
Yeah.
Which, okay, it was an okay idea, but within 3 weeks or 3 weeks, you could be maxed out on all your characters if you just did skull loss and all that stuff. And I'm telling you, I will fight this until I'm probably dead. Vanilla Year 1 did not have a problem with gear. They had a problem with RNG. That was the issue. People would run the raid the entire year and never get the raid helmet or the Vex Mytha class. That's not a game problem. That's a loot problem. I don't know how they do the loot system. I know it's a random number generator, but who knows? It may be this massive piecewise defined function type thing where if the number falls here, boom, that's what you get. They need to make it smarter. It has to take into account what you have. You know, because I tell you right now, if they had a smarter loot system, you would have never heard that argument. Mm-hmm. So, and that's just me. I mean, I will argue anybody on that. Mm-hmm. You know, and until they give me like definitive proof on this is, you know, no, it wasn't the RNG problem. It was a loot problem. Here's why. Then I'll sit there and I'll agree. But until then, forget it.
I read a Reddit post earlier. Now I know, beware, it's Reddit, but it actually brought up a good point. Like in D1 year one, it was basically like the issue there was that Bungie released a lot of powerful gear at the beginning of the game. Now it seems like what they're trying to do is release the powerful gear over time. Like that was the main issue, which I can see that argument also, but it's just like
they're starting at the curve where it's like they had everything really overpowered right at the gate in D1. And right now, nothing really feels overpowered except for like a couple of things, right?
Yeah. Only the bathers in the prestige mode.
I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet.
I need to dip in.
But like, make this pretty good.
but like, nothing really feels too overpowered. So they're just starting on the opposite end of the curve that they did from D1. Mm-hmm. Like that's all that they're doing. They're starting there instead of having to nerf everything. Maybe they have to buff a few things. Mm-hmm. Like,
but was that a smart decision? Do you think it's a smart decision?
Hold on. Here's
initially, yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Initially, yes. I think it's a great idea at the start of something. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think it's a great idea because, like, toward the end, towards Rise of Iron, you had like everything felt so weak, and the playing field didn't feel like the playing field was so bad on the guns that everybody was just using their abilities. Like, I don't know. I feel like right now where we are gunplay wise, we're in a pretty good state. There's like a few things that need buffed here and there. The Massive Breakdowns just did a great episode about what they'd like to see in like in a tune patch. Go check them out. They're part of the Destiny Tracker Network. But they, I feel like I can go into the Crucible with any gun, go into PvE with any gun, and use it. Now, whether I like it or not is a different story. But generally, I can use it, have fun with it, and move on. Like move on and try something else.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how you guys are gonna take this question, but is it more about your guns in this game or your power? Like, which one do you guys care about more?
I would say it's not about. I would say for me, it's not about either because engagements in Destiny 2 aren't. YouTuber Astacross brought this up. He made a 3-minute video, a 4-minute video about the issues, just issues that Destiny 1, Destiny 2 Crucible wise has. I would say that in PvE, guns feel pretty solid. Like I can use whatever basically I want in PvE and I can get away with it. Shoot, Datto went in and did, Callus did the entire raid with just the Rat King, and we all know how good the Rat King is. So if you can go in and do that with a squad of 6 people and the damage doesn't increase on that sidearm, you just shoot faster and you reload faster. If you can go into an in-game activity and destroy that in-game activity with a sidearm, I think it stands to reason that they've done a pretty good job with, enabling you to do whatever you want in PvE in that aspect. But in terms of, I don't know how I got into the Crucible, but in terms of that, it's not about how well you engage anymore, like how it was in Destiny 1. It's more about how you disengage and then wait for backup and then engage.
Yeah. It's all about
Destiny 1. Yeah, and Destiny 1 was, if I see this guy, I know that either I have to outplay him or he's going to outplay me. Now it's how fast can I run away, note my teammates to the presence of the enemy, and then hopefully team shot. Because now we've got giant Titan walls that take 2 golden gun shots to get rid of as a class ability, by the way. The Titan wall is a class ability, not a super. And it takes 2 golden gun shots to get through. That's a super. Why does my super take 2 golden gun shots to get rid? Why does my super not destroy a regular class ability immediately? You know what I mean? So that's already an issue. So they've got that to fix. And the gunplay doesn't feel as satisfying as it did. I don't notice bloom too much more on different weapons, albeit SMGs. Sometimes it'll feel like I'm really close to someone, and SMG range, the effective range to kill for that, and it feels like I'm missing shots for no apparent reason. But
get closer.
Get closer. Why aren't you using a shotgun? Oh yeah, you can't use those unless you have heavy ammo. My bad, power ammo. But in terms of something like that, they would have to improve that because the gameplay doesn't feel as smooth anymore because of that. It's, there's a person, let me run away, and then go deal with it later. It's no longer fluid like it used to be. So I would say it's not even about gunplay anymore to answer your original question or your power. It's just about how well can you run away and then regroup.
Yeah. Hey, it's a good point.
Yeah.
I think your average to above average Destiny player will not kill 2 Guardians like they could in year 1. Maybe,
I don't know.
Maybe your M-Tashes and your N-Kuches and all them, they will be able to. But listen, I suck at PvP. If I have somebody that's half decent with me at PvP, we will stomp anybody.
Yeah.
Just because this is it's about team shooting.
You haven't seen me lately.
Oh my god.
And we went in.
What do you do? There's trials carries.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't.
You can't.
Tomorrow.
Guaranteed carries.
Guaranteed, Rezo DJ from Rezo.
Yeah, I saw that.
He posted, "Hey, I'm doing 100% guaranteed trials carries next 2 weeks only. Let's go."
J-Ram, I'm just gonna throw it over back to you, man. Down the list more. Let's talk about new things that they are bringing.
All right, so they did talk about Iron Banner, and they also spoke about how the amount of data they collected is equivalent to like 15 years of gameplay.
Yeah,
which is really cool. And one of the things that they brought up, which I think is a huge bonus, it's a huge plus, but it should have been there from the start, so it's not like I'm celebrating this. Is the fact that you're going to be able to buy the guns. They didn't say armor. I didn't hear them say armor.
Really?
If somebody in chat heard them say armor, you can correct me. Go for it. But they said you're going to be able to buy the guns using tokens and or legendary shards.
Yeah.
That is a huge step in the right direction.
That's a good sign.
Of getting back to the normal. Getting back to norm.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm personally, I like that. But I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to sit here on Twitter and celebrate, they listened to me, yay! Because it should have been there from the start.
But that shows up in Season 2, right? Just to confirm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so the Iron Banner that's coming up very soon, I think next week, or not next week, next month. Don't expect it.
Will not be affected.
If you didn't get all the gear that you wanted in this Iron Banner, you still have a chance to get that gear in the second Iron Banner. And I'm also positive, 95% positive, that they said the Season 1 Iron Banner gear is going to be different in Season 2.
Yeah.
So the gear that you accumulate right now, you will. I'm just using what I think this is what they meant is you will never see that again. It's only obtainable in Season 1 because Season 2 there's going to be something different.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that starts the conversation with me of, okay, now I'm starting to see something meaningful, and you're making it something obtainable, not I have to play 400,000 Iron Banner matches like Buster did last week, to get the gear.
How pissed do you think the community would have been had they announced this before Iron Banner last week?
I think the community would have taken it easier because they could sit there and go, "Oh shit, this is a time-gated thing."
No wonder I'm getting the pants.
Let me say it this way, Dan. I think the hardcore players would like that change. If that happened before, your hardcore players, and I listened to DCP today. Slayerage nailed it. A hardcore player doesn't necessarily mean that you were playing 1,000 hours a week. A hardcore player is somebody who has an emotional investment into this game. Somebody who cares about it. Okay? So for somebody that's emotionally invested, they would have loved that change. I think for the casual, they would have bitched. Because they're like, well, I don't have the time that the other people do to put into the game. I have a wife and kids and blah, blah, blah. Hey, I live old school. If you can't get it, you can't get it. You got to move on.
Yeah.
You can sit there and cry over spilled milk, or you can just move on and understand that next time this thing comes around, not to, waste time.
Yeah. There's also the like Luke Smith has said in the past that this is going to be like more of a collections game, and seeing what they have in store for the seasons, that makes much more sense to me now.
Oh yeah. And I mean, when he said that, boy, did he get some shit for that.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's only because of the current state of the game. If this game was different, hypothetically speaking, if we could experience what we had in D1 plus a little bit more, because when a new game comes out, you're kind of expecting a little bit of innovation. And right now there's zero innovation. But if this game was at least on par with what we've previously experienced, that comment would have been fine. But right now there is a microscope underneath Bungie. So everything they say is going to be criticized and scrutinized to the nth degree. So
which Lupo had like a really interesting thing that he posted this week when it came to about their conversation with us and like why they may not be talking to us during this period of turmoil and strife. And it's because they're definitely listening, but sometimes it's better to stay quiet, listen, take those changes and implement them than actually like addressing everything and being like, okay, hey, yeah, we hear you. Like, yeah, let's promise this. And then then we'll move on. Because if that thing doesn't show up, then that promise has been broken.
It's even worse. It's an empty promise.
Yeah.
It's even worse.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback off of what you said, J-Ram, they actually have 1,500 years of data.
What did I say?
15 years.
Oh, my bad. I was off by...
Reddit already has a post up that lists everything. So
yeah, I was off by a factor of 100.
So some other changes that are coming. It's not armor that you can purchase. It's only the weapons. That's all they said was.
Yeah, I didn't hear armor. I heard weapons.
Armor. There will be ornaments now onto your Iron Banner gear, which I think is pretty cool. Correct me if I'm wrong. In order to unlock them, you have to do like certain challenges, and that's how you unlock
maybe like
an ornament.
Maybe winning like 10 Iron Banner games or something like that. Yeah. But even the ornaments are seasonal. So you get an ornament in season 2, you're not going to be able to get that in season 3. And I like that. It puts the pressure back onto the player saying, you got to start playing this game. You got to get involved. That's why I don't understand it when they say leave and come back. It's like, no.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Who said it? I think it was Miss 5000 Watts, and I never even thought of it. They want to build this game for the casual player, and they built the game for the casual player, yet the Crucible is nothing but competitive. It's 4v4 in every mode. Well, you can't pick your mode. It's quick player or competitive.
Quick or competitive, yeah.
But it's like you've changed the landscape of Crucible to make it a little bit more sweaty, but yet you've designed it for the casual player.
Mm-hmm. And it created a social game, but it's not really that social in terms of Fireteam is always like breaking up between.
I don't know. The ultimate I've been loving it.
I can't get my ultimate loot. Can't do that.
Yeah, no, I'm with Jay on that one. There's nothing worse than saying, "Hey, we just kicked ass the raid.
Guys out. Yeah.
We got 20 minutes left. People are going to bed. Let's play Crucible. Oh, well, we got to kick 2 of you out."
But guys, on stream, it's been like super chill. It's been like one of the chillest games to play because like I can grab 3 people from chat or like just a couple of friends and like bring them in. We just go have fun for a little bit.
Yeah, but
it's not 6 people cross-talking either. It's much easier. Like, from that aspect as well, it feels good. Like, I don't know. That's
right, but you could grab 3 people from chat before when it was 6v6. You would just have 2 more randos on your team.
Right, but one of them would have been like, so the other day,
you can't hear them if they're not in your party.
My sister, and do you know what she said to me?
Right,
she said, "Get good, scrub." Like that kind of shit.
But that's not what I'm saying. What you said was it's so nice now because I can get 3 other people from chat and have a team of 4 and run in. What I said was nothing's preventing you from doing that when it was 6s. Mm-hmm. It was just you would have 2 random people on your team that they would matchmake with you. You'd still be in a fire team of 4. You'd still have 4 in your party. Mm-hmm. You just had 2 more people on your team. That's all. So there was nothing preventing you from doing that before.
I don't know.
Back in D1,
that's true.
I used to run raids all the time, and then after a raid, we always jump into Crucible. Like after the tower, we just go straight into Crucible, and now we're just like, all right, guys, bye.
Yeah,
and
I'll be here.
We just leave. Like everyone just split their ways because they can't all go play Crucible together. Yeah, like 4 people stay or 2, but the whole team can't play. It's about creating friendships, and in that way you can.
That's the ultimate loot. I can't get the ultimate loot if I can't go into after the raid.
Oh my god!
The Crucible.
Give him a break.
Dan, you know what, Dan? I would love to agree with you on to give him a break. This is not new IP. This is Destiny 2.
Yeah. I don't know. So that final paragraph, it was ill-timed, but I get his feeling.
Ill-timed.
Yeah.
I get no. My heart is right there with him, and I understand completely what he's trying to say. But that was so poorly timed.
Dan, no way. I completely disagree with you. It was not ill-timed. It was meaningful. But the fact that the game is in the current state, that's why everybody jumped on it. Like I said.
Yeah.
Hey,
also, he did it on an official post. He didn't do it on like a personal thing.
That's fine. I agree 100% with Deej. And the people gave him an enormous amount of shit for that. And I'm in agreement with him. Yes. The fire team I play with, I would have never met these guys if it wasn't for one individual, my friend Dennis. And he played this game. Didn't even know he played. I grew up with Dennis. We played midget football all the way up to high school. Youth football. We called it. Sorry, I'm not.
Just continue. Just continue. Just continue.
You guys can land-base me on Twitter. I don't give a shit.
Just continue.
Anyways, I knew this guy for 25 years. Never knew he played Destiny. Saw him out one night. He asked, "What are you up to?" And I said, "Well, I'm doing this podcast for this game. I play Destiny. Pretty good at it." He goes, "Oh, I play it too." And I've met this group of individuals who I think are the most awesome guys out there. They crack me up every time we're together. So yes, he nailed it. The ultimate reward is the friendships you get. But there are a lot of people that are like, I don't give a shit about making friends. I want to play a game that's meaningful and all this stuff. And I hate to say it, but when a team is winning, whether it's a football team, hockey team, or baseball, basketball, when a team is winning, nobody gives a shit what you're doing. As soon as you start losing, everything is put underneath a microscope. And that's what's happening right now. And Deej got a lot of shit for what he said, and it was uncalled for. Yeah. And this is me sticking up for Deej.
Well, so a lot of the interactions that I'm seeing on Twitch, in Reddit, you said the forums were like awful.
Do not go there,
like,
guys.
Dan. Yeah, which ring of hell is that? It's like the one where you have to wash your eyes.
There are people calling out for Luke Smith to get fired. That is.
I do want to say something about this. I don't think it's right. Yes, we are very critical about the game, but calling for someone to either get fired or resign is just stupid.
Well, no. I got to disagree with you there, too, Jay. There was that guy that took over this. He was the CEO of that pharmaceutical company that took the EpiPens.
Martin Shkreli.
There you go, and priced them like 5,000 times what they are. That guy should be fired.
That guy should be fired. That guy should be in prison.
Should not be fired. He has a very good
Luke should be in prison.
No. I'm talking about Luke Smith.
I'm talking about Luke Smith.
That's what I just said. Luke Smith should not be fired.
No. I'm talking about like Luke Smith should not be fired. I'm saying
right. Yeah. But what you said was nobody. You shouldn't do that. I'm saying yes, you should. If somebody's doing something wrong, you should call them.
But that's like a way wrong situation though.
Yeah.
Like
I agree. But I think all I'm commenting on is Jay when Jay you said nobody should ever do that. Yeah. And I said yes they should. Not in this case.
It depends on the situation, yeah.
I think like Reddit, I think everything, because it's like now it's a broader player base. Also, you have the PC community coming in. I'm not blaming them entirely, but I am going to say this. Anytime a new game comes up, shit starts getting thrown. And that's fine. That's whatever. Like to each their own. But I honestly think that on some of these forums, you have the people who have legitimate complaints, and then you have the people who just stir the fucking pot. And it's just like they're just constantly sitting there being like, yeah, but what about ammo? Yeah, but what about guns? and they're just stirring that pot, and you're always going to have those, and with this new iteration of the game, it's just brought more of those people out to light. Now, we'll see how the community settles down in the next few months or year, or whether they don't. But it's, yeah. I think we're just going through some growing pains right now, and it feels weird.
It's just happening too early in the game's life, right?
I think it happens.
That's an argument.
I think it happens to every game.
You said every game? Like, well, not.
Every
I'm not
game
saying
has
like
growing
every
pains.
game that's out, but I'm like, I'm just shocked that this is happening so early in the game's life. I mean, if you told me this last year, I would not have believed you that people would be acting like this, and we would all like there would be so like the game would be in this current state. I would not have believed you, but
well, you have people who have entitlement. Like, who believe that they are entitled to something. Some of them rightfully so. Some of them rightfully so. And then you just have trolls.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's that way with any community. And in the music community, there's that. I don't know.
It's okay.
I just think that, like, right now we're in these growing pains and everybody's a 3-year-old.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I'm a 3-year-old. I had to change my diapers twice today.
You're 3 years old. Do you still wear diapers?
I mean, to piggyback off what you said, Jay, you can't believe that this is happening this early in the game's life cycle. I think at least that should be a sign that there is something drastically wrong here.
Yeah.
You know, how we approach that problem is an entirely different debate. But the fact of the matter is, when you have this much stuff going on, and Dan, you're right, there are people that are trolling, and then there are people that legitimately want to make a change. Okay. Sometimes, you know, it's hard to voice your opinion. Sometimes people get, if they're emotionally invested, they get emotionally upset, and I totally get that. You know, but the thing that we kind of have to remember here is that the community can only take so much before there's going to be eventually a pushback. And I don't care if you're a troll or you're the person that's emotionally invested. There's a threshold that's going to be met. And tonight, what Bungie said on, down at TwitchCon makes sense. They're saying we're listening. Here's some changes that we're going to implement, i.e. the Iron Banner thing. That's good. But the pot right now has a lid on it, and that lid is shaking. It's shaking. And whether or not it's going to boil over is going to highly depend upon what this first DLC and what this first season is going to bring.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of those times where, in retrospect, when you look back on the game a year from now, you're going to sit there and go, they made the right moves, and that's why they're in the current spot. That's why people are still playing. Or they didn't give a shit, or they took too long to make some changes, and that's why people weren't playing anymore. You know?
It definitely feels like a watershed moment.
Yeah. And Jay, I think you nailed it when you said it's amazing that it's happening this soon. Could you imagine? Let's just think of it this way. Could you imagine if Bungie went radio silent like they did in year 1?
Oh my God!
Could you imagine that?
There will be riots in Bellevue, Washington.
Yes. And my thing was in year 1, my perspective was, this is a new IP. This is a brand new game. This is their first time doing it. Yeah. You know, you got to be patient. Now, this is Destiny 2. This is not new IP.
Yeah.
You know, they have a framework. They have a formula. In fact, they may have copied that framework and formula a little bit too much in this game, because this game is essentially a carbon copy of the first, with just a couple little tweaks to inventory and tokens and stuff like that. But overall, we are still doing missions where it's 3 waves of enemies. You scan something. You're still doing strikes where it's 3 waves of enemy. Then you have a boss with a certain little mechanic or a twist. And we still have raids where you have to stand on a plate or grab a relic or do something like that.
Literally.
It's still the same thing.
Yeah.
You know? So that's why I think people's attention span and people's patience is less than what it was previously. Because they had 3 years to figure things out.
So I'm sorry. But I've got to just take a break right now, because when you said that there would be riots in the streets, I pictured like like a news reports from like the next day after that.
Oh, we lost you, Dan.
Dan, we lost you. I think your cord came out.
No, his controller shut off.
Hey, I'm dumb.
There it is. There you are. There you are.
There we go. Sorry. I had to hit the button. But like several tens of people took to the streets in several United States towns.
It's
just one guy. Hell no, we won't go. Hunters rule. Titans.
No, it's just like, okay, I read an awesome Forbes article today that basically just nailed it. I really wish Bungie would have had an extra year to make this game. Imagine if this game would have came out last year. That means a year of Destiny 2 development. Just like, I wish they would have taken just another year to develop this game. Yeah, we all would have been upset, but I'd rather give them one more development year than. Yeah.
Look at it like this. Because it's been a while since I've said something.
Yeah.
If they let this game go out for another year, what would there be to Destiny 1? Destiny 1 had, just under 1 million players across both Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
And the only thing that kept Destiny 1 alive was the PvP. And, there's only so much lore to go around in Destiny 1, Then you've got the lore creators, which also help bring Destiny back to the forefront in terms of this game does have a story. There are interesting things to learn about this game's universe. How much more of that can you stretch out for another year?
Bring in another development studio.
Hold on.
Hear him out.
And then you've got to do that. Meanwhile, your fan base is dwindling. It keeps dwindling because there's nothing to do. And then there's going to be reskins, an issue that we had in Destiny 1 that we are having again this early in Destiny 2. There will be more reskins. And then people will be like, well, why are there reskins? Well, it's because we're trying to make sure our player base that's already small doesn't continue to shrink. Because now there's truly no more content. You've seen Trials of Osiris, and you have Trial Sherpers, love them all so much. They are very skilled at what they do. And then there's story content that's in the Grimoire cards. There are so many theories that you can put out without having new information. All right, well, there's no confirmation of anything from a developer. Your fan base is just going to continually shrink since you're not putting anything new in the game. And then let's say they do put something new in the game, like how we got Rise of Iron, how that wasn't supposed to be a thing. People didn't really like Rise of Iron because it felt like it was just tacked on. Well, now you've got tax upon the tax that you've already tacked onto. And that means that the amount of resources and development that could have been gone to Destiny 2 are now going to Destiny 1, and then they're not as high of quality as they could have been should the game just launch at the time that it did now.
Yeah.
And then you risk losing all of those fans, and that means since there's nobody wanting to play Destiny 1 anymore, because the people who have been tried and true have been there for so long that they're getting tired and there's nothing that they can do. The game would only truly pick back up if there was a sequel announced. And you got, this game will come out in 20XX. We need hope, or help is coming right now. That's how Destiny 1 was before Destiny 2 came out. That's what my opinion is. So it's more of a, we need to do this to make sure our IP that's brand new at the time does not die, because Destiny had tons and still does have tons of potential. So I think that's why it needed to come out at the time that it did come out, because there wasn't much going for it at that time. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah. So do you think that that's like emblematic of the game industry as a whole? That maybe we're getting sold games that aren't complete in order to make deadlines?
That's the argument that needs to be had, Dan.
Yeah.
I agree.
And you know who to blame is?
Publishers.
No, look in the mirror. It's yourself. Because we're the ones that pre-order this shit. If we voted with our wallets, this shit would change real fast. But the fact of the matter is, when they give us that special skin or that neat little thing,
we spend $20 on
Kill
silver.
Striker Ghost.
Yep, here's my hey GameStop, here's my $50 or here's my $60 for the game. I'll pre-order it.
Here's the counter argument. Have shipped games usually, I can't believe I'm saying this, kind of last longer, because they always get updates and things like that. Like, they last longer than these games that were complete at launch. I'm using air quotes, complete at launch, right?
Like PS4 game or PS3 games? Or
Yeah, like how
games
games used to be.
Like,
they were,
games these days are lasting much longer than old games.
Right, because they have the ability to give us this drip feed, to give us this content gating. Whereas before, like Final Fantasy VII, what was it, like? That's 4 discs?
Game, I think.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a complete game.
Mm-hmm.
There were no updates. How long in
Not only
development
did they not have the time, I have no idea. Not only did they not have the technology at that time, people are, dare I say, less patient nowadays. So they would like to know, this is when you're going to get this, and this is how you're going to get it. And the developers know that, okay, we can come back. If there's an issue, we can come back to this later. Back then, there was no patches. It was just, this is the game. That's how it is. A good example of this, it's Monster Hunter. I'm a Monster Hunter fan. I don't know if anyone else out there is. But on Monster Hunter Tri Ultimate, I believe on PS3, there's a glitch where you could just get like a super OP cat that can take out some of the heaviest hitting monsters in like 5 hits, and you can get instant grind materials just like that by doing this one certain trick. And that's how that game was. They couldn't do anything about it. That's a glitch they didn't find before the game came out, and that's just what it was. That was the game. Now it's just, okay, if there's an issue, we can fix that later. There's no giant rush, and then as long as they get what we promised, that is probably only effective super early game, it feels nice. It's immediate dopamine rush. People like to feel like, oh yes, I'm gonna get that. Not that, man, I gotta work for it. This is what it is. People are just impatient. Some people lack time. That might be a thing, but a lot of people nowadays are just impatient and don't feel like waiting. And a lot of games back then, during what I call the golden age of video game, during the Xbox One, PS2, and GameCube days, a lot of those games that came out didn't even have advertisements for them. They were just they were like mainstream titles, like Mario. Mario is gonna have a release date for it, and then just some other like diamond in the rough games. They didn't have no marketing to them whatsoever. It was just, hey, I walked into GameStop one day, saw this game, or my friend happened to have this game. We played it, and it turned out to be God tier. Now, games, AAA games specifically, are heavily marketed on. Marketing takes a butt crap of money. You'd be surprised the amount of research that goes into marketing, and how much subliminal things go into that as they try to produce something, and that costs millions of dollars on top of the millions of dollars it takes to make the video game. Right. And so the companies are trying to find a way to break even, against making the marketing tactics that they need to employ and the video game itself. And so they're trying to find the quickest way and the most efficient way to not only break even, but get past breaking even and make a profit. And then you can continue to do that if you have things like, what's becoming the meta in terms of video games these days is loot boxes. Yeah. Everybody saw that Overwatch started doing it, and they were like, whoa, we can do that too. It had been around before then, granted,
every cell phone games.
Yeah, cell phone games did it, and they were like, well, cell phone games aren't meant to be hardcore. They're meant to just, I call them poop activities. You're taking a nice deuce. You don't want to sit on the toilet and not do anything.
Look, man, I don't know. I played that one Simpsons game for a long time, and it ran out my battery.
But you see, you don't get up, man, I can't wait to play Simpsons on my phone when I come home from work.
No, usually I'd play it. Usually I'd sit down and zone out on the couch and then just watch Homer walk around in circles.
But that's AAA games nowadays are so much more complex than those games used to be. And it's secretly a reason why I think Nintendo is so successful. They're called the grandfather of video games. Without Nintendo, a lot of us probably would not be playing games right now at this moment, and they probably would have stopped being made. Nintendo always focuses on power. I mean, not power, but fun. In terms, their console generally is almost always the weakest console to come out, but guess who never struggles with sales? Ever. Nintendo. Guess who knows their demographic inside and out? Nintendo. And they always deliver.
That's the kind of talk you can hear on his new podcast, Nintendo Talk. Nintendo Talk. Out now on Stitcher. Check your local podcast delivery service.
Just to bring us back to the Twitch stream, just really quickly so we can move on to the TWAB. So in season 2, they're bringing us Faction rallies will be returning, and looks like we're gonna have one more faction rally in season 1. Correct? Just want to make sure I heard that right. Yeah. It's gonna be the same weapons and gear up for grabs. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's right?
Yep.
It look like the same scout rifle and all that. And then in season 2, they're actually bringing brand new guns, brand new armor, and the armor sets. Ornaments, there we go. Armor is gonna have ornaments on them. It actually look pretty cool. My favorite is the new Monarchy set. D said that they're gonna put all that stuff in the TWAB next week, so you guys can go out there and see those screenshots if you don't know what I'm talking about. The new Monarchy one looks pretty dope. And the Dead Orb, I'm just not really a fan of the Future War cult, but that's just for my personal taste. So
you're wrong. So
yeah, you're wrong.
I mean, I'm not going to pledge allegiance to those factions. I'm still going to pledge my allegiance to Future War cult.
Pledge allegiance to the Future War.
Of course. But I'm not a fan of the armor set, but we'll see.
Predicted the Red War, but, we told them about it, and they laughed.
Yeah. Now the emo kids still want to leave.
Exactly.
Also, before season 1 ends, we're going to have a Clarion call. Am I saying that right? Clarion call?
Clarion call.
Yeah. Which is basically double XP. I'm excited for that. And that was actually leaked in the database a few weeks ago. We actually saw that pop up. So there's going to be a clan one. There's going to be a Vanguard one. Like, Kate is going to call for one. Ikora and all that, things like that. But we're going to have a clan one right before season 1 ends. They didn't have a date to that. But, again, right before season 1 ends.
Double XP weekends.
Yeah. Next up is going to be Bright Engrams. All the emotes and other rewards will be updated. I don't think they're going to change the ornaments though, because they said small things aren't going to be changed, like certain things, but there's going to be brand new ships and sparrows, transmat effects, things like that.
I hate that word.
What? Which
things?
Word?
It's so inefficient in delivering information. I hate it.
All right, that can be
That's
on.
Yeah.
that can be on the linguistics podcast that you're starting next week on Feral Audio. Feral Audio.
There's gonna be a new mic drop emote, which looks so cool. Just like drop the mic. Again, the Dawning will be returning. There will be snowball fights. There's gonna be ice hockey. I heard them talk about the farm. Is that gonna be at the farm also? It's gonna be everywhere?
Are they making the farm relevant again?
The farm's going to have more things for the Dawning. They said something about the snow forts and bigger piles of snowballs.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's a news date. That's a news item.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, the Dawning will be returning, things like that, and there are gonna be new ghost shells, and ghosts are gonna have different shapes to them, it looks like, which looks pretty cool. I'm excited to see that. Again, all
I do like that.
stuff.
I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah. And the brand new ships look really good. I like them.
They do. Yeah. That one Dawning ship was pretty fire. I like it.
It looked like it would cut your head off. It was low flying.
It looks like Moon Knight ship, if anyone knows.
Oh yeah, Moon Knight. Yeah, I got you. I'm the only one that got you. Like 10 people just stood up in their chair.
Yes.
They're also going to be bringing back new Crucible maps throughout seasons, which whenever they bring an event, they may drop a map. We've seen that when Trials dropped, there was a brand new map. With Iron Banner, there was a brand new map. And when the Raid dropped, there was a brand new map. So it looked like that theme is going to continue over throughout the lifespan of D2, it seems like. And it looks like sandbox changes will be happening at the beginning of each season. That's what it looks like. Clan rank resets at season 2. My clan is actually at season 5. So I said season 5, rank 5. Sorry,
we're at rank 6.
Oh, we are.
What?
Wow, where our clan is at? We
do have.
We have.
You could drunkenly stumble into 6.
Yeah.
We've been at 6 for quite some time now.
Wow. Shows you how much I played this week.
Oh.
No, that wasn't a burn.
Damn.
That wasn't a burn.
Hot fire on that mic.
That wasn't a burn. I'm just saying, like, I've been busy, guys. Anyway.
So how many dates have you gone on this week, Jay?
3 with J-Ram, right? 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not that long of a drive.
Yeah.
He walks me to the door every time, and I still won't kiss him. I'm holding out.
Hey, a gentleman never asks.
And a gentleman never tells.
All right. Let's move into the TWAB, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's start with the hot stuff first. Let's talk about PC. Guys, it's 4 days away. And I will admit, I've kind of forgot about PC because of all this other stuff I've been reading on social media and Reddit forum. It's kind of like brushing the PC news down the line all the way. But yeah,
I would be excited.
I'm really excited for PC. It launches Tuesday, October 24th at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, and Bungie showed off the PC launch calendar in the TWAB. I know for the past few weeks I have been saying that we have been speculating that the raid will be available day one. It will not be available day one. It's going to be available on Wednesday, November 1st. Normal raid will release on PC, and then Trials of the Nine begins on PC on November 3rd, and then Prestige mode launches November 7th, and then Guided Games the same time. Now, at first, I was a bit confused as to why they would do this, release it like after the PC launch, but then I realized maybe they want to do a raid race, like a world's first on PC. I think that's a huge title. I mean, yes, we already know how to do the raid, but I mean, come on. I think that's a title to have, right?
Yeah.
World first on PC, the brand new platform.
Well, I guess. I mean, you already know how to do the raid.
Yeah,
but how many of them have done it?
Yeah, but JRAM, think about this way.
Okay, go ahead.
PC and console are going to be different, so you may want different weapons, maybe more powerful on PC and things like that. I think that's still going to play a huge role.
I don't think.
I have people coming into chat like that are getting it for PC. They're like, "How's this game?" And I like generally will honestly tell them the the rundown of how I feel about it.
Okay.
But this one dude came in while we were in the phallus callus room, and he was trying to like pull us into his head, and he was like, "Oh my god, this looks amazing! I can't wait to start this." And it's like, "Oh, have you never played it before?" He's like, "Didn't have a console, only playing it on PC." I was like, "Have fun! Don't let anybody tell you how to feel about it. Just play it."
No, I agree with that. I just think that having a PC raid first is not going to mean the same as a console raid first, because you can already watch videos and figure everything out. It's just a matter of executing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's no, you didn't know how to do that first. And
right.
You figured it out and you did it. And you already did this thing that's been discovered.
And I'm going to throw this out there, but I bet you the team that wins is going to have at least half of them will be console players. Yeah. Like the Fire team itself, 3 of them are going to be console players that already know how to do it.
So how much, what are we putting this bet on? What does Jay have to do? What does Jay have to do if J-Ram's wrong?
I tell you what Jay has to do. Not only does he have to wear the wig that he was supposed to, but he also has to glue chest hair onto his chest. Like a Wolverine.
I like it.
Just like how Fallout Plays had to glue Pope Bear's beard onto his face because
you have to glue. You have to glue Pope Bear's beard from Fallout's face onto your chest.
There you go.
That's
disgusting. The heritage continues.
That's disgusting.
I say let's do it.
I am in one of mine with that.
We should okay, three beats one.
I'm gonna text Fallout right now, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, where's that beard hair?"
Anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna
send it.
Tell him not to wash it either. We want to smell the essence.
Moving right along, guys. Prestige mode launched this week, guys. And
Yay! Haven't played it.
I have not played it. I heard it's actually pretty challenging. Is that correct, J-Ram? I haven't even watched videos on it.
Challenging, yes. It feels, and this is exactly what I was afraid of. Last week's podcast, I said I don't want it to be like Crota 2.0, where it's yellow bar enemies. They didn't give us yellow barred enemies, but what they did do is it seems, and obviously I'm not the developer, but it seems like there is an increase in health. Now the enemies are brought up to our level per se. They're more powerful than we are, but it just seems like what used to take a pulse grenade and a rocket now takes a pulse grenade, 2 rockets, and maybe a little bit of primary. So, they didn't increase like the difficulty. They just made everything much more powerful, which, depending on who you are, that is a false sense of difficulty. The mechanics changes I really liked as far as like the gauntlet and everything. I'm gonna just say what it is because it's already out there.
Do it.
But I do like the fact that it forces everybody to run the track at least once prior to all 6 of you running it. So you kind of do have to change up a little bit as far as like who's running. Normally what we do is we have our 2 most inexperienced runners go first, and then the most experienced go last because of the way the floors drop out. Other than that, though, it's really not that. I mean, it's really not that difficult. The dogs encounter, we still want 1-phase dogs. So adding 2 more dogs for us meant 0. The baths encounter is a little bit different. That's the one where you really feel like these enemies are just extremely overpowered. And the fact that they didn't increase our light level kind of speaks to that. My team, we didn't even do Kalish yet because I hate saying it, but the only reason why we were doing this is just to say we did it and just completed it. We have 0 incentive to go back. I think if we do go back, it's only because we want to do the Castellium part and get the shaders. That's it. But other than that, after this, there's it's pointless to go back in, and hence the whole argument with the emotional disconnect from the game itself. So that is basically everything that I've experienced so far, which is just to sum it up real fast in like a concluding statement. The enemies are overpowered. You're not powerful. Ammo's still an issue, and there's no reason to do it again.
And I heard it's very glitchy.
There are glitches.
I mean, like, not you breaking the game. I mean glitches in like
I know what you mean.
Like acting up.
There are certain YouTubers or I'm sorry, Twitch streamers that will sit there and complain about the dogs seeing them. We've never had that happen once. I don't get, and I think maybe because this individual is helping so many people from different parts of the United States, where the people I play with are we're all like, the majority of us are on the East Coast, 1 from the Midwest and 1 from California. So maybe we just have like a better connection than what this person does. But all the time, it's like anytime something goes wrong, it's always a glitch to them. But yet all the glitches that he's talking about, I've never experienced.
I don't even think it's a glitch. It's just connection issues with
people. That could be it. So,
or they just want to admit that they failed and got.
There are horrible design choices. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Plasmic. I cut you off.
I was just gonna say it's all good. I was kind of interjected you. I was just gonna say I played in that same situation. The dogs. Okay, so I'm on the West Coast now, but everyone that I play with, Jay included, is on the East Coast, and they're all very close together. So I'm sort of in your same setup. And I've done Pleasure Gardens, and there's been a couple, not frequently, it's happened twice to me, where the dogs just somehow see me despite the fact that I'm 7 light years away in the air. So I'm not sure how that happened. I'm not sure, like, if that is a glitch or if that's just for some reason the dogs have a vertical line of sight like a Destiny 1's Titan Smash. I'm not sure what's going on with that. So it might not be that they're just bad, or it might actually be a glitch or something like that, if that means anything. Just throwing my 2 cents out there.
Yeah.
In terms of experience.
No, I think
it's only happened twice.
I think one of the major issues is the whole nightmare room, where you're being constantly pulled forward. I don't understand how when you're standing there at the barrier and then you randomly just go right through the barrier. Now, if the team gets the second barrier up quick enough, you won't go all the way through, but that shouldn't happen. Nobody has yet explained it to me why that happens. You know what I mean? Like, Dan, have you ever experienced that where you're in that room and then you're shooting the scion that's floating up in the air, and then for some reason you just get boom right through?
Yeah,
and you have to like do a 180 and shoot as you're being sucked through.
I've experienced that on the right-hand side, particularly. I think that there's something maybe wrong there. Either that or like a piece of the flooring that is just like turned up ever so slightly, and the physics of the game just grabs you.
Yeah, like I said,
it might
Is
not
that
be
a bad design choice?
Yet.
Maybe
I don't think it's a bad design choice. It just needs to be fixed.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying this.
Like, what do you mean by bad design choice?
Yeah.
How can I say this?
You got to be more clear with that.
Just forget it, because I'm going a long tangent as to why and going.
No, because I think that specific part of the raid is awesome. I love that part. I think it's super cool. But it needs to be polished. It doesn't feel like it's polished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not even gonna go into why I think, because I'm gonna bring up King's Fall and certain issues with that. Yeah, nah.
Okay. Another podcast.
Well, then
That's
don't.
another podcast. Yeah. It's another podcast. But let's move on in the TWAB. Let's keep going down further, and that is it, really. There are some known issues in the day one PC known issues. All that info is in the TWAB. Also, Trials of Osiris is not active for the next 2 weeks because of a glitch with the emote. Yes?
What about my emergence as the #1 hot new Trials Sherpa? That was supposed to start tomorrow. I've got a whole lot of rethinking to redo.
Yeah.
Sorry, community.
Again, a lot of people were upset that Bungie canceled Trials rather than fixing the emote, and my stance on this is like, I feel like if they would have turned off the emote, it probably would have caused other issues in the game, so it might have just been easier for them not to do a manual switch on Trials.
Is that emote an emote you can buy with
it was, and then Bungie took it down. They took it down as soon as they took it down last week.
Okay,
they took it down immediately.
So here's the thing, you ready? You can buy that emote using silver. Bungie took it down knowing that it was an exploit. So the people who currently have it still have it. I think that's the whole reason why it was it's postponed, is because maybe there would have been a violation of terms that somebody bought something and then you took it back off of them.
Yeah.
Well, look at it like this.
That's true.
Look at it like this. We all bought Destiny 1, right?
Yeah.
Everybody that played Destiny 1 played Taken King. You had to buy Taken King.
I think I know what
when
you're
there was
saying.
a glitch. When there was a glitch with Tether, and it was infinite tethers, they just straight up took away Quiver. Like, you just didn't have Quiver. It was gone. Period, point blank. And we all bought Destiny. It was money that was involved, and we bought it. So
that's why I'm bringing up my point.
Could that same thing be implied?
No.
So
I'm thinking maybe it's because, like, once you change something in the code, it could break something else. So, again, you can't just turn something off without testing it. Or maybe they did test it and realize, oh,
it broke the shit out of something else.
It broke, let's say, it deletes a character. It deletes a whole character. So, again, it's just easier for them to turn off Trials because, as we all know, Trials is a manual switch. They all turn it on every Friday at 10 a.m. So, it's just easier to not turn it on than having to take out an emote because it may break something else.
Yep. Yeah. I love how my Twitter feed erupts with all the developers that I follow every time something like this happens.
Yeah. Just
the 200 to 250 people that are just like, you know what? If they did this, it would be fine.
Everyone turns into a developer. But it's just, I know Reddit
everyone just instantly knows how to fix a game.
Yeah,
which
Reddit
they have
exploded.
no
it was crazy.
coding experience on.
Yeah, they don't know what the back end looks like.
Yeah.
You know what I think is kind of weird, and I know why they did. I mean, at least I have an inclination on why they did it.
Explain. Yeah.
Did you guys notice where that was located in This Week at Bungie?
At the top. Wait.
No,
it wasn't.
It was buried 3/4 of the way down in the article. It was one little
section. There's no Trials.
It was buried in the article. News outlets do shit like that on purpose. If there's bad news, they tend to release it on a Friday. That way, you don't have Monday through Thursday to work with. People tend to forget about things over the weekend. So when there's like really bad news that's coming out, they either hide it somewhere. They say, oh no, we posted it, but they'll either hide it somewhere or they release it on Friday. That's a real thing.
But here's the thing. in the case of Bungie, Trials starts on Friday and goes all the way to Monday. That's like what the weekend is for.
Not even that. It's just that in the spot where it's at, I'm looking at it right now, it's under the
Destiny Operations Center.
Yeah. So I'm like, it's
which is
perfect.
Yeah, that's where that's always been.
Yeah, that's always
like.
Yeah, but how far down is that? Dude.
Oh, no, yeah, it's 3/4 of the way.
Eliminating Trials
definitely.
for 2 weeks is a massive thing. There are people that make their living. They pay their bills by streaming Trials. Yeah. That's a massive piece of news. That's not a little one-sentence thing.
Yeah. I will be very honest. When I first saw the TWAB, I skipped that part. I went straight to the day one PC known issues because that was the longest piece of text. I was like, important news. And then when I started seeing screenshots of Trials, I'm like, Trials, what? I didn't even see that. And then I went back.
They did that on purpose. They put it all the way down there on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Well, it could be true.
No, it is true. Just like when Deej said something, Deej is very intelligent and he knows how to say things, like the word thing that you know that Jay doesn't like. He's
put
not
that in there for you, baby.
Yeah, he says things and that can mean anything. Now, if he specifically said, you know, guns, and then that doesn't happen, they could sit there and go, well, Deej, this is what you said, this is what you promised, this is what
guns, Deej.
Yeah, you said guns. You said guns. You should get fired now.
Yeah, you should get fired now.
You know,
how often are you going to get fired now that you said guns?
Yeah, they deliberately do that stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? They have whole marketing teams and PR teams that they pay, you know, salaries for every year. They do this shit on purpose.
Yeah. Their marketing team, their PR team is great.
They hired a whole like a staff of psychologists to determine what is the maximum length that mission should be to keep players engaged. Now, if you don't believe me, all that information is in D1.
That's a class in game development, psychology.
Yes.
That's a required class that you have to take because you learn about the player's brain and all that stuff. And
so you know, don't sit there and go, class. Oh no, they, you know, no, they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
There are entire games that I put down because one level was way too long.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They didn't heed their psychologists, or their psychologists were just really bad.
Yeah. It's funny, man, but I mean, all of the missions and everything, they're all around the same length, and that's to keep you involved. It's to keep you in the game, so you don't get bored.
Yeah.
Now, where were their mathematicians when they were using the RNG system in Destiny 1?
I don't know.
Who knows?
All right.
Who knows?
I don't know, man.
I
still argue they need a smarter RNG thing.
J-Rim, you should apply for a job there, man.
No, I get fired within like a day.
I want to see J-Rim write the TWABs.
Oh, man, it'd be simple.
God,
the bluntest TWABs known to mankind.
Yeah.
So there's no trials this weekend. Deal with
it. Welcome to the TWAB. Here's the breakdown. Shit's effed up. We're working on it. Stop calling for my head. Relax. I'm
gonna go D-Generation X all over your mother.
BTW Trials is canceled 2 weeks.
Deal with it. Get good, scrub. You've got 2 weeks to get good.
Get good, scrub.
Better hit some Crucible because I've seen your numbers and they are not good.
Yeah. Right. No, but you know, they do that stuff on purpose. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, wow. It was actually a lot of news tonight. Yeah.
Hey Jay.
Damn.
Yes. Which one?
Well, both of you, and also the ladies and gentlemen of the Destiny Tracker community. We are glad to have your support and the support of our sponsors. Are you lagging behind the sticks and in the Crucible? Never fear! Our friends at Gamer Subs have the drinks you need to keep you competitive. They've restocked their flavors of fan favorites: Dragon Fruit Punch, Acai Berry, and even added a mysterious and delicious new flavor, OP Orange. What's that in the sky? OP Orange. Use our code DTR to get 10% off these delicious drinks. And guess where you can shake those drinks from? The comfort of your own home. Thank you.
Well done.
Nice job, Dan. Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. All right, guys. It was actually a lot of news tonight after that Twitch stream.
Yeah. There's even more news. There's even more news because the BBC
Yes,
has
tomorrow.
a walkthrough of Bungie tomorrow.
I'm excited to see that. We get to hear their philosophy behind some aspects of Destiny 2 and some behind the scenes look. I'm actually really excited for that. I love those things.
All I gotta say is I saw a preview and the door guy looks like he has kind eyes.
He's very welcoming.
Very welcoming. He's like, "Hey guys, welcome to Bungie," and then he opens the door for him. Very gentlemanly.
Yeah. There is more news actually. GuardianCon had their stream last Friday, guys.
Yep.
The tickets go on sale next Friday. I forgot the ticket price, but I think the VIP pass is like $150. $150.
It's $30. It's $30 for $30 to $35 for the 1 day, $50 for the 2 day, $175 for the VIP.
Yeah. And is at the Tampa Convention Center. So make sure you guys, and that's pretty further in Tampa than the Florida State grounds. So I may book a hotel room there, because traveling back and forth between Orlando and there is gonna be a lot.
Mark Square sent me details for like the house that he and his group are going to be getting, and it looks very enticing.
Nice. Yeah, I may just like book a hotel room or something. Yeah.
A whole hotel?
Not a whole
Ladies
hotel.
and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Get your room with Jay.
Yeah, meet Moneybags.
Jay's B&B.
Yeah, I'm just gonna book a whole hotel for Destiny fans.
For GC.
And I heard there's a Starbucks next to the convention center, so I'm really happy about that.
I hear there's 2 Starbucks across the street from one another in Tampa.
Yes. I'm from New York, so Starbucks is my life. That's not a sponsorship, guys. That's not a sponsorship.
When's the
But
date?
ladies and gentlemen of the Destiny Tracker community.
What happened, J-Ram?
When's the date?
July 13th and July 14th. That's a Friday and a Saturday.
Maybe I'll take the wife.
Yes.
Jenny and I are going.
Nice.
Jenny may not go to GuardianCon, but
last time we went down to Tampa. We were in Clearwater, which is right outside of Tampa, and we stayed at the Sand Pearl, which is unbelievably gorgeous.
Nice.
Sounds like a dirty trick.
Oh, yeah, I wish it was. My wallet didn't feel like a dirty trick.
Oh my god. All right, guys.
That son of a bitch was a lot lighter after that
one. Before we quit, and I have an ask. Can we host the Dames of Destiny?
Yes.
After we get done with this podcast, because they are doing a breast cancer awareness stream. I think for the weekend. Yeah, save the boobies.
They're my favorite part.
Yeah. So to the Dames of Destiny out there, thank you for all the work that you're doing. It's truly amazing.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to the 50th episode of the DTR podcast, 1 year anniversary. Woohoo! Yay!
Woo!
It's been an awesome year. I'm really excited to see what's next. Our November lineup is looking pretty sweet so far. I have to say, it's looking pretty good. I'm really excited. Yeah, next week, Mesa Sean will be joining us. He was supposed to join us tonight, but he's feeling a bit under the weather, so he may be joining us next week, guys. Go send us some love on Twitter. Yeah.
Get well soon, sir.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you again. So, where can we find you guys on social media? Plasmic, you're up first, man.
Nope, you already know the usual gag. Twitter at Plasmic Leaf. Still have not found a way to delete the second one, so it's kind of Russian roulette at this point.
All right, J-Ram.
J_Rambo9119 on Twitter and all that other stuff. I live in the salt mines.
Yeah.
So come on down.
Listen, there's a lot of room down. Well, actually, no, we're starting to fill up pretty fast. It's starting to fill up.
I'm starting to.
We should start renting rooms.
Yeah, there's too many people down there.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
You know what?
We should start charging people entry fees.
You guys are definitely not getting goiters. That's for sure. You're getting your daily dose of iodine.
Absolutely.
We should just start charging entry fees for everyone who wants to enter the salt mines. But Dan, where can we find you, man?
You can find me at Rathos everywhere. Also, even that one site. And you can also find me at Danfinity on Twitter, or on Twitch, twitch.tv/Danfinity, and on Twitter, DanFinitwitch. See what I did there?
Yes. Alright, guys. So, you guys can find Destiny Tracker on YouTube at Destiny Tracker and on Twitter at Destiny Track and me at J_DTR. Alright, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to the 50th episode of the DTR podcast, guys. We will be back next week. See you guys all later. Bye!
Later.
Bye!
Goodbye.